The 350 stock has become 300, so it's a 20% correction which has already kicked in a heavyweight stock like Tata Motors. Let's move on, and let me now bring on board Mr. M.K. Surana, Chairman and Managing Director of HPCL, and along with him we've got Mr. Praveer Sinha, CEO and Managing Director of Tata Power. We would be debating and discussing that how exactly things are moving on the government's initiative on India's National Electric Mobility Mission Plan. Tata Power and HPCL, they formed a partnership where HPCL would be providing their petrol stations where Tata Power can mount their electric chargers. So how will the partnership work? Is there a large investment? Is this a pilot project, or this essentially could be something which is going to be the need of the hour couple of years from now? So Mr. Surana, Mr. Sinha, good morning. Thank you both for joining us. Mr. Surana, in the earlier avatar, the fuel retailing companies, they started opening shops and they started selling candies and books at the petrol station. Now it's a new model completely. You are looking at installing e-charging stations. Won't you be cannibalizing your own business by doing this?
Good morning, Nikunj, and good morning, Mr. Sinha, and all your viewers. Basically, the oil marketing companies fundamentally are in the retailing business since ages. And the various models on the retail outlets had been in vogue in India and abroad for quite some time now. Initially, in India, it was more a control product. It was limited to selling MSHSD because the dealership also were allotted based on certain criteria, and there was certain business model. As the things started opening and the things started becoming more global, then the various sources of other than transportation fuels business started coming in petrol retailing. It started with ATMs, then it started coming with the convenience stores, and then there was a need for providing additional facilities to the consumers where, especially on the highways, the toilets and the dhabas and the hotels and the shops for the needy items started coming. In between, there was a phase where the items related to vehicles, let's say car washing, lube changing, air, nitrogen, etc. came. Now the energy narration is changing globally, where the sustainability has started coming into picture. The carbon footprints have started playing an important role. And also for a country like India, where the energy needs are growing, we are the third largest consumer, and we need all forms of energy to cater to the needs of the growing demand of the country. So the twin factors, the need for energy, and second, a need for affordable and sustainable energy, has propelled the countries to look into various forms of energy which are sustainable, which are affordable. And that is where the different forms of energy provision on the petrol retail outlets started coming, and the companies who were in the energy provision, whether by way of liquid fuels, it was a natural transition or natural allied business for them to provide that facilities. The second part is that they had a large infrastructure, and where the retail stations all over the country. Oil industry has got around 75,000 retail stations. HPCL has got more than 18,000 retail outlets. So that becomes a natural point for boarding on for these new forms of energy. And the third part is that there is a transition phase where all forms of fuels will be used and all forms of energy will be used by the vehicles. And therefore, it becomes necessary that the customers or the consumers have got a single shop facility where they can take the fuels of our energy sources of their choice. And it's a right on a pure market dynamics, then we provide all the options to the consumer, which are they need, which is convenient to them, which they prefer.
Okay. Mr. Sinha, how exactly will things work? Because putting electric charger at petrol stations may be the next logical extension for Tata Power. But the complexity is going to be very large. Tata Power may not be present in a lot of cities, lot of pockets. How do you think this entire process, or how do you think this will evolve?
Good morning, Nikunj, and good morning, Mr. Surana. And first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Surana for giving the opportunity to Tata Power to associate with HPCL. As Mr. Surana mentioned, HPCL has more than 18,000 outlets all over the country, and all the oil companies put together is more than 75,000. Now, I don't think there is any conflict when we are talking about creating the EV infrastructure at petrol stations, because today we are in a transition phase. We still have the ICE engines, and they will continue to be there for a long period of time. They are not going away anywhere. And we also have a lot of people who are transitioning to electric vehicles. And then, of course, you have the hybrid vehicles where you have both the electric as well as the ICE engine. And I think both of them can coexist. There is a space and opportunity for both of them. And that's the way that we are looking. Tata Power is today in nearly 100 cities and also on number of highways. And we have the largest number of EV charging stations in the country. In fact, 50% of the present public chargings are owned by Tata Power. And we have huge plans of growing this business in future, because not only are we partnering with HPCL and the other partners who are in similar business, including many of the shopping malls, many of the coffee shops and places like that, but also we are trying to bring in the whole ecosystem of clean energy and green energy. So what we are also discussing with Mr. Surana and his team is that, especially those petrol stations which are there on highways or remote locations, can we also put solar panels over there, and thereby not only provide them green energy for the petrol dispensing, but also use green energy for EV charging. So I think that there is a huge market, huge opportunity. There is a disruption that is happening, but this is happening for the better, and I am sure we will get an opportunity to leverage the market reach that HPCL has and grow as complementary businesses, and not that they have to be cannibalized.
And just one thing, Nikunj, I can probably add to that, even though we are working on all forms of energy, not only EV, even gas, even biofuels, I think this is a consensus that it's a long path which we need to cover, where any new form of energy can actually dent the growth in the existing fossil fuel, even if in the best of the case. So the traditional business will continue to grow, at least the best estimate is at least 2040. And the other forms of energy will help to provide for a part of the additional growth which is coming. And if we don't do, probably a country like India will be short of the energy resources. So there is no conflict at all. It's a business where we are trying to expand our wings in newer forms of business and trying to strengthen our existing business itself, and in the process also helping them part.
So basically, at this point of time, there is space for all energy sources. Good morning, gentlemen. This is Mubina as well, joining into the conversation. Mr. Sinha, I actually have a follow-up question on something you mentioned. The source of power for the electricity that will be, pumped into the into the EVs. I say pumped because of force of habit, right? We fuel up our cars, now we'll be fueling it up with electricity. But, we know for a fact that coal supply in the country has been a little volatile. It's not exactly consistent. We see power cuts in different parts of the country. How important is continuous supply of electricity without a hiccup, without a cut, for EV purposes? I know you mentioned that you will eventually move to using green sources for charging your EV station, for charging at EV stations as well. So how far away are we to that, and do you anticipate 100% use of only green energy, which is obviously a little more consistent, right, compared to fossil fuel?
Let me try to give our perspective on this. See, today the existing generation is from conventional generation. Coal has been for last 100 years, and coal-based generation has been continuing for virtually time that power generation started. This is not going to close down immediately, and this will continue for another at least 2 decades, if not more. And when we are talking about the new energy, we are not talking about, again, either or. It is and how we can transition from existing coal-based to renewable forms of energy. And when we talk of renewable forms of energy, it does not mean that it will be intermittent energy. We are talking about that it will be continuous. And that's where I think there is again huge amount of synergy that can come along with the oil company, where we can look at gas-based generation. And of course, the storage will also come in a big way. So I think today the options are very many, the technologies are very many, and we need to virtually synergize all of them rather than exclude any one of them. And going forward, that is the way that will happen, that we will have a mix of a combination of energy forms that will come. And as a part of the overall energy security for the country, we need to ensure that clean energy, green energy, affordable energy, and consistent energy is there, and not that we move to one form and then have an inconsistent supply of energy. So I think for us, we need to look at it more holistically rather than putting them into compartments and saying this is the only form or this is the only form that will survive in future. So that's the way that we look at it when we talk of energy security for the country.
Okay. All right. Mr. Surana, in a way, it's almost like a business diversification project as well for you. Like you mentioned, you're going to be now moving to other forms of energy along with your existing fossil fuels as well. So how many charging stations are you looking at being set up across the various HP, petrol stations across the country, if you have some sort of revenue commitments? And also, is this an exclusive tie-up with Tata Power for stations across the country?
Good morning. No, actually it is not an exclusive tie-up. We right now have got EV charging stations and 87 retail outlets in the country, spread over around 17 cities. But this is a big scale tie-up, let me tell you. It may not be exclusive, but yes, it is an important tie-up wherein we can leverage the reach of HPCL and strength of Tata together to develop that ecosystem for EV charging. So initially we will be trying to set up around 100, we'll be trying to set up the EV charging stations along with Tata at 100 retail outlets as a pilot, and then we can scale up depending on the evolving model. So while it may not be exclusive, but it is important considering the size and the reach of Tata's and HPCL. And it may also help us in probably, as Mr. Sinha also mentioned, in a bit more holistic arrangements with between the two of us. And the second part is even the solar. HPCL itself, as of today, around 2,000 retail outlets we are solarized. And we are doing it in a big way on our retail outlets also. So, and the third part, just on the consistency of the power, just to mention, HPCL was one of the first customers in the country where in 1954 we had a tie-up with Tata Power, and we were operating the refineries on the Tata Power on a consistent basis. So if a refinery can operate on a power system, the EV charging is the easiest of the things to do. So I don't see that as a concern at all.
Sure. Mr. Sinha, a slightly off-topic, conversation, but just wanted to understand, given that you are now turning out to be an EV enabler, wanted to understand from you, what do you think is the scope of EVs in India? While, a large part of the developed markets have already shown and set precedent onto, how big the EV, inclusion could be in the auto industry. But given that when it comes to markets like India, there are a lot of pros and cons. EVs are going to be high price, a lot of questions and debates around infrastructure, manufacturing capacities, what have you. What is your own sense on how soon could India actually see the big boom or boon for EVs?
I think the EV penetration in India has started in a big way, especially when we look at two-wheelers and three-wheelers. So the number of two-wheelers that have been sold in the last 2 years has been very large, and we find that there are more and more manufacturers who are coming in, and also improvement in technology and lowering of cost. I remember 3 years back, the two-wheelers used to cost more than a lakh of rupees. Now the lowest entry point two-wheelers are at 60,000 rupees, and this is without subsidy, and then the government subsidy is there. So I think under FAME 2 and also otherwise, there are large number of manufacturers who are showing a huge amount of interest to come into the EV manufacturing. Also, as far as the four-wheelers are concerned and also public transport, we find more and more companies are now moving towards electric vehicles. We have seen few launches in this year itself, in this financial year. And we expect that going forward, many of the manufacturers who were in the traditional ICE engine will move into the EV manufacturing. So I do expect that in the next 3 to 5 years, there will be large number of manufacturers, large number of varieties in different segments of the market. India is a very price conscious market, and so also for EVs to penetrate, they will have to be less than 10 lakhs market. That will be the biggest in terms of the volume, and many of the Indian manufacturers as well as global manufacturers will be looking at. Tata Motors itself is looking at EV in a very big way. They've taken a call, and so also JLR, that beyond 2030 or 35, I think they will not be manufacturing any of the ICE engines. So I think we are very gung-ho about the opportunity. And as a power company, we understand that it's not just the EV charging, but also the seamless experience that we need to provide to the customer through the software and the app that will be provided to them. And we do hope that the way that we are going about and partnering with HPCL and other companies who have similar outlets and have pan-India presence, we can tie up with them and provide great driving experience of electric vehicles for consumers.
Mr. Sinha, seems like you've already got an EV parked in your garage.
Yes, I have one. I've been using it for last 1.5 years.
Great. I could tell that it's, your views on EVs are coming from experience. Okay, Mr. Surana as well as Mr. Sinha, great to have you both on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to take a very quick break on that.